Hey.
I said he ain't shit. He ain't make weight.
What's going on, you guys? So Devin Haney says the fights that interest him the most are fights with Vasyl Lomachenko and Gervonta Tank Davis. He also gets asked, he also says that he'll beat George Kambosos even easier in a rematch, and that Ryan Garcia don't want to fight. Hit that like button for your boy. Give me that HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. So Devin the Dream Haney, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. All roads lead to Devin Haney. All roads lead to Devin Haney. So if you want any type of title in a 135-pound division, which is one of the glamour divisions in the sport of boxing, alongside the welterweight division and formerly the middleweight division and the heavyweight division, you got to see Devin Haney. And Devin Haney said the fights between Tank Davis will interest him the most. Now, him and Tank Davis had a sparring session that they had some years ago. And from the rumors that from people say, right, I didn't look too deep into it myself, but based off of what I heard Devin Haney may have gotten the better of Tank Davis at that particular time. Now, according to Floyd Mayweather, something was wrong with Tank Davis' stomach or something. Like, he may have had a stomach. I don't know, right? This is what they've been saying. The fight with Lomachenko. Lomachenko is in Ukraine. Lomachenko was supposed to fight Devin Haney years ago, but then the franchise tag got put on him, right? Some fans may say, why should Devin Haney look back at Lomachenko at this point now, after what Lomachenko did? But we're not going to do that here, right? We're not going to do that in this new Devin Haney era. We're not going to, we're going to leave no stones unturned, right? We coming for all scalps, but it has to make sense. And that's one thing I'm starting to stick me in my gut a little bit when I hear these guys, and I've been hearing a lot of these guys, Charlo, Shakur, even Devin, say it has to make sense, right? They've been saying it has to make sense a lot. Stay tuned. But the fight with Lomachenko, it does make sense. Lomachenko is a credible opponent, a credible name to add to the resume. And of course, it's a hell of a fight. Lomachenko, Devin Haney said the dude was a fighting motherfucker. He could fight his ass off, right? Lomachenko could definitely fight his ass off. And the last time we seen Loma was against Richard Comey, and he looked spectacular, right? He looked phenomenal in that fight against Richard Comey. But now he's in the Ukraine. We haven't seen Lomachenko. He's allegedly in the Ukraine. That's the fight that Devin says, one of the fights that interests him the most. And in my opinion, it should be a fight that he goes for, right? And I think Devin Haney likes being on Top Rank. Personally, I think he likes ESPN. I think he's going to be over there with them for a while. So he might as well clean out, right? Clean them all out. Now, there's the fight with George Kambosos. George Kambosos is exercising his rematch clause. After such a one-sided beatdown, do we really want to go through that again? Do Devin want to go to Australia? Again? Well, check this out. He says this. Mark Kriegel asks, are you prepared to go back? Is there any scenario where you think you would not be going back there next? And then Devin says, honestly, I need to sit down with my team, my dad. We're going to figure out what's next. Obviously, it will have to make sense. There you go. See? Makes sense for me and my team. But I'm a true fighter, and I'm willing to fight whoever, wherever, whenever. So if it makes sense, there go that word again. For me and my team, I'm willing to do it again. Then Bill Haney steps in, and Mark asks, Dad, you're the boss. What makes sense? There we go again with that word. See, you're going to start hearing that shit a lot, y'all. Watch. And what doesn't make sense, said Kriegel. Bill says, well, anybody in the world. Devin is the undisputed champion. He's number one. All road leads through him. See, that's what I said. He's prepared and ready for anybody. So Bill Haney, he says all road leads to Devin. He's ready and prepared for anybody. And then Kriegel asks, is there any scenario where you wouldn't go back to Australia? And Bill says, we signed up to not only beat him once, but beat him twice. But like Devin says, everything must, there we go, make sense. We gonna talk about that when I go live later too. We gonna go live today, sometime this evening. Be sure to stop in. Because from a business standpoint, it must make sense all the way around the board, said Bill. I mean, and I get it, right? But we're going to talk about it later in more detail, this makes sense thing, because I see a lot of you guys are starting to, it's starting to ring your bells too, right? This little makes sense thing, right? Then Krieger says, will you knock him out next time? He says, we'll see. I know he's going to come up with a different game plan if we do fight again. I don't know. We'll have to see, says Devin. So, yeah, George Kambosos, man, look, man, I hate to say a guy don't have a chance, man, in anything, right? I really don't. I'm not really that guy. But based off of what we saw, man, he couldn't hit Devin with confetti. He had every advantage, except probably the physicality standard, but he had every advantage going into that fight, man. He had the crowd. He was the home cut. I mean, he had every advantage going in, and he didn't win a round. It was 11-1. He only probably won one round in that fight, if you can give him that. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to sell that to the Australians. It's going to be hard to sell that to the Americans. It's going to be hard to sell that to the Australian government for them to shut down stuff and do all this they got to do to have this big fight over there again for a guy that just got completely washed. I mean, he showed that he really almost didn't belong in the ring with Devin Haney. Devin Haney also says that if this fight don't have a Kambosos, he may go up to 140 pounds. To be honest with you, we don't know what Lomachenko is going to do. We don't know Lomachenko's current situation. We haven't heard from Vasyl Lomachenko, the Matrix. We haven't heard from him. But Tank Davis is also a guy. But then again, boxing fans are kind of like, we don't know about Tank. Because if history shows us anything, Tank Davis never really went for the bigger fights. But maybe times is different. Maybe things is different. Maybe it's really strap season for Gervonta Tank Davis. So we got to just wait and see, you guys. But yeah, Devin Haney says the fights that interest him the most is fights between Gervonta Tank Davis, Vasyl Lomachenko. He says Ryan Garcia. Oh, speaking of Ryan Garcia, he don't want to fight. I mean, Ryan Garcia is supposed to fight Devin Haney. As we all know, he's supposed to fight Devin Haney. He was the mandatory, but he opted to not fight him. Then he got mentally ill and all this other stuff. And now he's back like nothing ever happened. So, yeah, he's fighting Javier Fortuna in July. He's screaming at the fight with Tank Davis. Tank Davis seemed to be interested in the fight with Ryan Garcia. So, yeah, Devin Haney, his options are looking like it's Vasyl Lomachenko, whoever top rank offers him, right? So, yeah, or maybe even George Kambosos if that fight really goes through. I think George really will go through with it again. I'm not sure if he should just, me personally, I think he should just kind of build back up, right? Build himself back up and then go for that shot again before hopping right back into there and potentially ruining everything, right? We know how 2 losses in a row can possibly do to a guy. Who may not be able to move up in weight or move down or anything like that. So yeah, George Kambosos may really want to rethink that rematch with Devin Haney. But yeah, Devin Haney says the fight that interests him the most is fight with Vasyl Lomachenko and Gervonta Tank Davis. Ryan Garcia don't want to fight, and that's just what it is. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.